God is love. I'm sure you've heard that before. But could it be that there's more to it? Welcome to The Man Who Kept Dying. My name is Vincent Olivier. I am the author of the novel The Man Who Kept Dying, and I am the man who kept dying. In today's video, I would just like to address the view that God is love. Because I think that there's more to it, and that God is not only love. I'm sure you would have heard many people who've had a near-death experience or an out-of-body experience. Most of them come back and say that they felt they were surrounded with a love that was indescribable and that they've never felt such level or such degree of love before. Some of them even got to meet with the source energy, or what we label as God, and say or describe that the love they received from that energy was pure, absolute love. A type of love they have never felt before, and a type of love they would love to experience again. And they know that they will once they transition from this life into the spirit side once more. However, I am of the belief that there is something beyond love, and that God is not only love. I think that what we call God, and that central point of consciousness, as I like to call it, just is. But if we were to go beyond love, God is something else. And what is that something else? Well, that something else is joy. As simple as that. And my reasoning, based on my experience, is the following one. God is love. Yes, that is true. But you are God too. And one of the main goals of living as a human on this planet is to do the experience of self-love. That's the starting point. Once you understand self-love, love of self, acceptance of self, it allows you to then better share love with others. We have a tendency as humans to constantly look for something outside ourselves. So I want to find love means I need to find someone who will love me, and I will love in return. Whereas once you understand a bit more how the spiritual side operates, you will understand that actually it all starts with you. If you start loving yourself, you will attract in your field people who are going to love you in return. So until you do that, it's not certain that the people are really loving you, if you see what I mean. But if you come from a place of self-love, it's more likely that people around you will match that energy and will also be in a place of self-love. And the love you have, the mutual love you have, will be a lot more enriching for the relationship. So point one, you are God also. Point two, you discover self-love. And that's what I believe a lot of people actually discover when they have a near-death experience. That degree of self-love. This is how I should love myself. This is how I should feel about myself. I'm not saying this is easy to do. It's actually quite hard. I'm not a perfectionist, but quite close to being a perfectionist. I like things to be done a certain way. I'm very critical of myself all the time. And I know that I could always do this better or that better and so on. However, I have a high degree of self-love as well, which is really helping in some situations to help me not put too much pressure on my shoulders. Once you discover self-love and you allow yourself to be who you are with all your flaws and with all your positive characteristics, so your strengths and your weaknesses, you discover that there is something else that your soul really desires for you to experience. And that something else is called joy. So what is joy? Joy, ultimately, is what the central point of consciousness, or God, desires to express through us. Ultimately, we are here to live in joy and to enjoy our life. To me, the central point of consciousness is just joy, beyond love, because once it's accepted that it is love and it's got self-love, it just wants to go through the experiences in joy, good or bad, doesn't really care for it. It says, I need to go through those situations with joy. That's why, to me, when I hear a lot of people say, God is love, God is pure love, God is absolute love, God is a love that we cannot even comprehend as humans, I tend to disagree with those statements. My view on that would be that, yes, God is love, but beyond love, God is joy. And God is a joy that we can all experience as humans. And how do you start experiencing that joy? Well, I have a little secret that does the trick for me, and I hope it could do the trick for you too. So I'm sharing it with you. If it doesn't, well, I hope you find one that does for you too. But for me, if I'm going through a situation that either I don't really like, or I'm finding that I don't really have the passion or the drive within me as I'm going through that situation, I stop and I smile. Try to do it. Just stop right now as you're watching this video and smile as I do it. Yes, I may look a bit stupid, and maybe you do too. It doesn't matter. The fact is, this moment you stop and you start smiling, feel how your body relaxes. Feel how it anchors you in the present moment, and how actually everything that seems quite heavy is less heavy. And although when I was in the hospital shortly after my NDA in 2018, I did not have any of that spiritual understanding of what was happening. I remember the importance for me of keeping a positive mindset, keeping having positive interactions with people. It was also coming from a place of, well, perhaps in 2 days I'm gone. So I really desire for my last interactions with everyone to be positive ones. But I would smile when people would enter the room. Although I was crippled with pain, although I was on the verge of potentially not making it through, I would always smile. And I believe this played a big role in me going through it quite smoothly, if one could say so, given the circumstances at the time, but I mean, still being there today and talking to you. So smiling, to me, is my secret weapon in situations where I don't feel a lot of joy. I would smile, and at least I've got my inner joy. It doesn't mean that the world or the settings around me are changing, but at least internally, I've got that inner joy, even if it's only temporary. But at least I've got that. And that's it for this very short video on why I believe there's more to God than just love. And for once that I'm managing to do a very short video, I should pat myself on the back, and I hope you enjoyed it. But let me know as well in the comments, like, what you think. Do you think God is love? Are you adamant that it's love and only love? Or do you think there's more to God? Do you think that joy is the next step? Or do you think it is something else? Or do you say, no, Vincent, joy is below love? I would disagree with you, but that's why we have different perspectives. So I am happy to hear yours, and we can exchange on that, and we can all grow together. Hope you enjoyed that short video on joy. Of course, I wish you a very joyful day. Do not forget to smile, and I will, as usual, tell you with a big and joyful smile, until next time, be conscious, my friends.